What's up, YouTube? This is your boy, Big Hoss. And this episode 2 of the platform, is actually a very special episode, at least to me, because it is the first interview on the platform. And since it's the first interview, it's of my wife. I picked her because I felt like she had a lot of things that she kind of fought through and went through, and that her story needed to be told. Let me go ahead and say that the first little portion of it, my camera messed up and didn't record none of the audio, so luckily I had two cameras on her, and the other one recorded, but it's a little messy. So I promise you, it clears up, it gets better. Just stick it through. I really hope you enjoy it, and I really hope you get something out of it. So until then, or let's do this.
Have some bad times. We had more bad times than we did good. There were six of us, and there were four different dads in the picture. You know, by the time it was all over, my biological dad, Gabe's biological dad, Bill and Sandra and Nick's dad, and then Samantha. Of them, Mom only married two. She was gone here and there, in and out. I basically raised kids. I had a lot of anger. And at one point, Mom took me to a psychiatrist. Started to say that I was bipolar. I was on medication to the point that I was a zombie. I didn't function really. School, ate, home, that's about it. And then I realized she was trying to get a check off on me, so I quit everything. It was about 8. By that point, we've been out of foster system. Still were up until I was old enough to say I wasn't going. Um, I just looked at the different addictions Mom had and what she put us through, and the arguing between boyfriends and husbands, things my grandma went through and what she did, and I just didn't want none of it. I didn't want any of it. My original goal, always, as far as I can remember, was to finish school, go to college, and move the hell away from here. I didn't even want to take the kids with me. I just wanted to go.
The hardest decision I had to make was whether or not to keep my brothers. The last time they were taken, they got put with us. My sister was put with my mother-in-law, and I had to take off work to take them to Cape for the testing and all that. And I went out to the car while they were up there waiting to be seen and whatever, to smoke a cigarette and to just process, and I broke down crying because I knew I couldn't do it. I had to make the decision to risk my job, risk the finances, me being pregnant with a child, she was 2 then, 1 or 2 year old, living in a house that at the time was already almost too small for us. And taking my 2 brothers, one of which needed help at the time. And I called the caseworker and explained everything and bawled my eyes out for a long time because I just, normal pregnancy. I had some pain that was constant near the end. Told the doctors about it. They said it was normal. Baby was running out of room to move, typical normal stuff. There was no diabetic, no nothing. They said I was anemic about a week before I was scheduled to have him, so they had me on iron pills. Went in, scheduled C-section. We got moved to the back burner a couple times. They started and stopped, mostly just because there was other people that were having, emergencies or whatever. I get us back there. Everything is going good. And they get him out and he's not crying. There's a whole heart-dropping moment where me and Brennan are just looking at each other. And then he says, there he is, but I never heard him. Brennan swears he heard him, but I never did. They let me kiss him, and then they basically ran with him. Next thing I knew, because I was in unconsciousness, it was just, at that point, Brennan had left out when the baby did. It was just me, the anesthesiologist behind me, and then the doctor that was stitching me back up. She stopped because I was supposed to have a tubal done, the cesarean. We had already planned it. I'd signed paperwork. Brennan and I discussed it, decided it was all done. She tells me that there was problems with this baby. That she wasn't a pediatric doctor, so she couldn't tell me specifically anything, that she couldn't, guarantee, but that she could tell me that there was something wrong with the child, that there was signs of Downs and club feet, but that she was, she was not a pediatric doctor, that, she couldn't be for sure, but that there were complications. And she asked me if I was for sure that I still wanted my tubal done. Mind you, she'd already given me and Brennan a little bit of hell on the subject because I was young, and technically Jackson was only our second born, but because we had Nick, that's 3 kids, and I was like, no, we're done, worst case scenario, we're done. So without Brennan being there, I had to decide if I was going to go through with it or not. And in my mind, it was if I lose him, no matter what, if I have another kid or not, they're not going to replace him. And if complications were Downs and club feet, who knows, or who's to say the next child wouldn't be worse. So I told her to go ahead. Of course, at this point, my blood pressure spikes from stress and worry and everything. The anesthesiologist asked to pray with me. So he prayed with me, and then he gave me something for my nerves. When I woke up again, I was in the recovery room. A friend of the family came in, claimed me as her daughter. She came in and she was like, are you okay? And I was like, is he okay? And she was like, yeah, they didn't tell you anything? And I was like, no, no one's told me anything. She said, well, he's 5 pounds, 5 ounces. They're working on him. She's like, hell, I was 5 pounds, 5 ounces, and look at me. She told me later that was the hardest conversation she'd ever had with me. That it hurt her to see me cry. But I already knew that because people don't react well to me crying. I'm not supposed to cry. Fast forward ahead, I get moved into the room. It's just, at this point I've talked to Brian. He said he was going to go get clothes or something and come back later. And I said, okay. At this point, I know they're talking about moving him to a different facility. They're talking about shipping him to St. Louis. There was some kind of problem with his breathing. I still have not gotten a whole lot of details. I don't know a lot other than the fact that he wasn't breathing and just different things. Just me and my mother-in-law and my aunt. And they're both looking at me like I can tell they've both been bawling their eyes out. And I'm just sitting there. Like I don't know what to say to them. I don't really want them to tell me anything unless they know something that I don't know about the baby. The doctor comes in and tells me that they did tests to see if he has Downs. They got him on a the breathing machine. They were able to stabilize his breathing. That he doesn't club feet. They're gonna have to ship him to St. Louis because it's the best NICU here to deal with him. That there were other issues that may or may not, that we're not sure about just yet, but that he needs to go now. When the ambulance comes, Jackson's already doing better. They put him on a nasal cannula, and she brings him in this big, it's just like a giant incubator type looking thing. And that's what he's gonna fly in to St. Louis. And she's like, I wasn't sure if we were gonna have to bring him by to see you before you left, but he's already breathing better. He's on a nasal cannula. I'm gonna let you hold him. So I held him for a minute. Mother-in-law and them took pictures, but even, it wasn't 5 minutes at all. And they suggested something for a picture, and I was like, no, he's gotta go. He's gotta go. I remember her face, but I don't remember her name. The lady that rode with Jackson on the plane actually took my cell phone number and sent me photos later of him on the airplane and let me know when they made it. So a few hours later, I'm alone. I'm at the hospital. I get a phone call because I can't sleep. The morphine's not touching me. It's just making me itch. I mean, nothing's touching me. I'm just worried. I got my phone right here and I'm just waiting. They call me. They don't know anything about our son. They ask if this is Gabrielle, and I said yes. What's your son's name? Jackson. They had him down as Gabrielle's boy. They didn't know anything. They didn't know how much he weighed when he was born. They didn't know if he was breathing or not. They didn't know anything. They basically just got this baby to hold him, and he's so little, and he's in this. So I told the hospital the night before, is there anything else we need to know? I was like, well, our daughter had to use a Billy Light for a while, so there's a chance that Jackson may need it. Sure enough, she calls me back a couple hours later, and she's like, you called it. We've got him under the blue light for jaundice. So we get there, and he's in this blue light. My mother-in-law and sister-in-law are already there. I ended up spending the whole next week with him. And the only reason I came home was because I started bleeding. I was not myself in any way. I wouldn't really say depressed. More just worried. I felt broken, more so, as in, it bothered me so bad because I was 200 miles away from my husband and my other 2 kids who missed me and weren't really understanding what was going on because the Bubby's sick. The mommy's got to be with Bubby. But then, I understood a lot more of what was going on at the hospital than Brandon did. So I just took it a day at a time, a minute at a time. If it was just a little thing, as in we're increasing his feedings, or you get to bathe him, or I'm going to let you lotion him today, or we'll try real close, or just anything, because we weren't able to hold him until after that first week at least. From the time he was born, I knew he was going to be okay. I never once thought he's going to die. I never once thought he's not going to make it. Somehow or another, whether he is worst case scenario Downs or whatever, he's going to have a life. He's going to be here. He's going to be okay. I don't know why. I don't know what it was. But I was confident. It was a comforting feeling. It was like I got reassurance from somewhere. I can't even describe it. I had different figures the whole way that helped me through, whether it was a headstrong caseworker or a friend of the family or somebody that was not a good influence, but that I thought to myself, I don't want to be like that, or somebody to look up to, or whatever it was. I had different figures that kind of kept me going. And then after I had Sabrina, it was nothing. It was, my kids aren't going to be subjected to what I was. Period.
If you could give advice to anybody out there struggling, maybe through stuff that you've been through, stuff that you've seen.
If you have that chain in your family, which if you do, then you know exactly what I'm talking about without describing it, that this family is only known for this, this, and this, that they know that one family member of your family, and then you're nothing because you're their daughter or you're their family member. You can break that chain. You can. You have to want it, you have to work for it, and you have to not take any bullshit from any of them. But you can do it.
That was my wife. Like I said, I really hope y'all enjoyed the video. I hope to have some more interviews lined up in the near future. Until then, please like, subscribe, leave any suggestions you have in the comments. And until next time, Big Hoss out.